So it's been an up and down experience for me with this series so far. But one thing this show is making me realize is that I remember a lot more from the beginning of the game than I do from the end. So I might need to do a replay when this series is over, just to kind of relive some of that magic. That being said, I thought this was a much better episode than some of the previous episodes. It's definitely not the most action-packed, but it does pack an emotional punch. Let's discuss.
I watch so you don't have to.
Before I get started, I'd like to kindly ask that you hit the like button and please subscribe to the channel for more content just like this.
Come on. Do it. Do it!
So this week we have a 3-month time jump. And that brings us a Joel and Ellie who are a bit closer than the last time we saw them. They are very close to finding Tommy's location, but on the way there we see Ellie dealing with the guilt of not being able to save Sam's life.
I'm in a glass case of emotion!
She's even having doubts that a vaccine created from her blood will even work. Joel reassures her that everything is going to work out and that the people where they are going will know exactly what to do. This is a slightly more optimistic side of Joel, even if it's only momentarily. The next morning they are confronted by a group of people on horseback, and these people use a trained dog to attack anyone who is infected.
That's racist.
There is a decent moment of tension in this episode where we aren't sure if the dog is going to attack Ellie or not. Even though we as an audience, if you played the game, know that's not going to happen, Joel's reaction and the look of fear on his face makes us believe that this is a possibility. It was actually a great piece of non-verbal acting from Pedro Pascal. This group eventually takes them back to their walled-off little town, where Joel is finally reunited with his brother Tommy. Although the happy to see you phase does dissolve rather quickly when the past is brought up.
I know it was you, Fredo. You broke my heart.
Joel asks Tommy to continue his mission and get Ellie to where she needs to be. Because at this point, Joel is still feeling guilt about what happened to his daughter. He's lost confidence in himself, given his heart condition and his failure to act in certain situations he's been in lately. And he's very clearly terrified of the thought of losing Ellie the way he lost his daughter. So he basically convinces Tommy to take her instead.
I'm asking you for a favor. I do a lot of favors for you, don't I? You wanna help me out?
So Joel's brief optimism we saw earlier in the episode was gone in a heartbeat. Meanwhile, after Ellie has a tough time adjusting to normal life inside the town, she overhears this conversation between Joel and Tommy, and obviously she's not too happy about it. And this leads to an almost shot-for-shot remake of one of the most emotional moments in the entire game. Now, I don't know if it's as impactful as that moment in the game, because again, I just don't feel as connected to the live action counterparts in the series, but I have to admit the scene was very well done from an acting perspective.
Why do you cry?
This is the moment where Ellie tells Joel that she would be scared without him, and Joel defiantly thinks that she is better off without him. This was one of the few moments in this series where I didn't find this version of Ellie at least slightly obnoxious. That's progress, right? I mean, she is obnoxious in other parts in this episode. But this scene was very well done, and it was more like the Ellie that I know and love from the game. This episode very much deals with Joel and Ellie's feelings towards each other. And to be honest, that's all I was really looking for in this show. The focus should always be kept on their relationship, because that's what made the game so successful.
That makes sense.
I will admit that Joel does come off like a dick when he guilts Tommy into going for him, especially right after Tommy told Joel that he's building a family at this establishment. But it's all good because Joel's hesitation is short-lived. Apparently he changes his mind overnight and he and Ellie leave the next morning.
My, how the tables have turned.
I don't exactly remember how this went in the game, but it did seem a bit abrupt in the show. But I guess we're trying to move things along after some time had been wasted in previous episodes. And this is where we get more time on the road, more Joel and Ellie bonding. Joel is teaching Ellie how to shoot a gun. Eventually they arrive at their destination at the university, but it appears to be abandoned. They are eventually attacked by a group of individuals. Joel and Ellie do escape, but not before Joel takes a knife to the stomach. This episode concludes with Joel falling off his horse and Ellie crying over his unconscious body, pleading with him to get up. Again, not much of a cliffhanger if you know where this is going, but it was still pretty well done. I have to admit, this episode felt much more relevant than previous episodes. It was definitely well written, well acted. It had that great callback scene to the game. It very much deals with Joel realizing that he needs to let go of some of the pain he's holding from his past. And it's an eye-opening experience for him as he sees what is right in front of him. That being Ellie, who has now become more to him than just an obligation. She is now his #1 priority, and he cares for her very much so. She is literally all he's got, and he is all she's got. It's simple yet effective storytelling and proof of what this show could be if it continues to remain focused.
Y'all be cool. Right on.